In this video, we're going to talk about removing an element from an array, and that involves a couple of other things. For example, let's say we want to traverse this array. Remember that traversing means that you start at the beginning and visit each element all the way to the end. Let's say we want to traverse this array and find the smallest. I've created this array called tests. Up here, int square bracket tests equals, and then I used initializer list syntax to create an array with 5 elements. And then I'm going to want to deal with part of this array, because if I want to remove the smallest one, what do we know about arrays? We know that they are fixed length. That means that I can't really get rid of an element in an array, but I can move the other items up to take its place and then leave the last item empty or with 0 in it. So I'm going to set my current size equal to tests.length. That means that the current size of my array is 5 because I've got 5 useful elements here. Then I'm going to find the smallest. So I want to find the location of the smallest actually. So I set this variable called min_loc for min location equal to 0. Because if I am processing the array, the smallest one that I've come to when I visit the first element is the first element. So I set the location of the smallest one to 0. Then I'm going to process the rest of the array. Notice I set int idx equal to 0 here. I could have started at 1 because I've already set the smallest location equal to 0, so I could have been a little bit more efficient and started at 1. I'm going to keep looping as long as my idx is less than the current size, and I'm going to add 1 each time. Inside that loop, if tests sub idx, so if the current one is less than test sub min location, is less than the one that I think is the smallest, then I'm going to set the minimum location equal to the current one. So as I loop through here, min location is going, this is what's going to happen. The second time through the loop, idx is going to be 1. So it's going to say if test sub idx, so that's 84, is less than test sub min loc, which is 95. That's true. So min loc will get updated to 1. Next time through the loop, idx is going to be equal to 2. So it's going to say if test sub idx, that's 56 right here, if that's less than test sub min loc, which is min sub 1, which is the 84, and that's true, so min loc gets set to 2. I loop through and look at the next one. 87 is not less than 56, and 79 is not less than 56. So when I'm done with this entire loop here, my minimum location, let me just write this down so we can remember, min loc will be equal to 2 when I'm done processing this entire loop. Then if I want to remove the smallest, I'm going to set another loop, and I'm going to start at that minimum location, idx equals min loc, and I want to loop through the rest of the loop, so idx less than current size, and then idx plus plus. And then I'm going to say tests sub idx. Oops, I made a mistake. Test sub idx equals, I want to move the next one into the current location, equals tests sub idx plus 1. What is my mistake? My mistake is that I'm stopping when idx equals current size, which is currently 5. So if I'm stopping at 5, so when idx gets to 5, that's going to be after the array, right? So it is going to loop while idx equals 4. But if test sub idx is test sub 4 equals test sub idx plus 1, 4 plus 1 makes 5, there's nothing there. That's outside the bounds of my array. So to fix this, whiteout would come in handy, but I should say idx less than current size minus 1. I could also have resized current size. If I'm getting rid of an element, I also could have set current size minus minus before I encounter this loop. I chose to do it after the loop because after I move all of those elements, I'm going to subtract 1 from the size. So what's going to happen as a result of this second loop here, now that I've fixed my error, is that tests will now be equal to, I'll rewrite this. Whiteout would be handy at this point. 87, 79. Have I changed this last element? Have I changed the last 79? I have not. I have not changed that element. However, if I'm only looping to current size, I've subtracted one from current size, so the next time I loop through, I'm not even going to visit that element. You could update your code such that you set the unused elements to 0 if you want to, but as long as you're not visiting them when you traverse, it really doesn't matter what values are contained in there. I hope you found this helpful.